Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings. Today we've got a trending news here for you, and the headline reads Clash of the Titans. Wike and Oshiomole sat at opposing fence in Abuja, book launch exchanging words. Alright, but before we continue with details of the news and for the analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube. Alright, let's look at the news in detail.
The Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike and All Progressive Congress APC National Chairman Tuesday traded blames on the concept of leadership by example. The two leaders were at each other's throat at the official presentation of The Big Interviews, a book authored by the immediate past managing director of the Sun Publishing Limited, Mr. Eric Osage. The event, which had in attendance journalism finest hands, including publisher of the Vanguard newspaper, Mr. Sam Amoka, business Mongol Issa Fontoa, among others, started in earnest when Oshiomole was called to make a few remarks before unveiling the compendium. In his characteristic manner, Oshiomole drew applause from the crowd with his delivery as he called on media practitioners to be more courageous, particularly when taking on men in power, citing an instance when a foreign journalist once took an unnamed Nigerian president a few years ago on the scourge of population control. Oshiomole said the ex-president was wrong to have spoken on the subject matter when Nigerians were yet to be told the number of his wives and children. How could he speak on population control when Nigerians didn't even know the number of his wives, both registered and unregistered? Nigerians didn't know the number of his children, and I think leaders should learn to practice what they preach, Oshiomole stated. Although his People's Democratic Party PDP counterpart, Prince Uche Secondus, managed to fire a few salvos in response, it was Wike who brought the capacity-filled Atiku Abubakar Auditorium, Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center Abuja venue of the book launch down with laughter and excitement. He said, "Let me begin from where APC National Chairman stopped." He began. In his trademark voice, he now said, "Where are some of you who did occupy Nigeria? Do you still write and speak the way you used to today? Who are those now sponsoring all manner of bills against free speech?" He asked, as Oshiomole and his predecessor, Chief John Odege Oyegon, railed in laughter. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. He now said, continuing, Wike chided the APC chair for what he called a deliberate ploy to mislead Nigerians into thinking that he still wears the khaki of old when he was a Labour leader, saying the kind of safari Oshiomole wears now, are different.
Alright, thank you very much. This is nothing but the truth. One of the things I've noticed about Nigerians or politicians is that those guys are in the same camp. No matter what, those guys are working together. And you can see that they really understand the whole story. This guy, Wike, was trying to diss him, was trying to look at what we have here. And you see, the guy just laughed it off because, man, these guys, we have to dribble these Nigerians and make them feel bad and allow them to fight with themselves, and we keep on popping our champagnes and enjoying ourselves. Journalism in Nigeria is not what we normally see, like what Oshiomole talked about, that he could still remember how one journalist, pick on, we all know the president he's talking about. We all know the president. I wouldn't like to, predict it or say it here. The president is talking about that, how a journalist blasts the president and all of that. That was before. Right now, we know that there is clamor in the Senate House that they should do what? Slam journalism, because if you are stopping free speech, it's a clear indication that you don't want journalists to report the things that they have seen. And And this is not really okay for Nigerians. And look at how they just laugh laugh away the whole trouble that Nigeria have been going through. Because to them, man, we have to rule these people. We have to govern them. We have to call it affliction even. Let's afflict them. They don't even have a voice and all of that. And if you check out right now that the federal government own press medias, go there, you won't even enjoy listening to anything, because what you hear there is not what is obtainable outside. All what they portray is the well-being of the government. Sometimes I go on YouTube trying to check out what they are saying, and I realize that the views are nothing to write home about, because the people already have come to a conclusion that, man, these guys are only here to collect salaries. They are not even doing their job. They are so scared. Look at the paper safe. Those that are traceable to the government, maybe the state government, or they cannot post anything reasonable because of what? If they try it, there will be slam. A lot of them will lose their job and all of that. So there is nothing like freedom of expression again in Nigeria. And that is why when he came up to talk, Wike, I trust Wike very well. That one didn't even allow him to land and slam him. So we just want to look at this issue of journalism, freedom of speech, and all of that. What do you think about it, considering the fact that this guy is trying to prove that they are still allowing it? I'm talking about Oshiomole, that the present-day government is still allowing it. What do you have to say about it?
They all know what they are doing, each and every one of them. They know the cards they are playing. I've said this before, I'll say it again. If Nigerians with one voice can speak up their mind and don't allow ethnicity and religious lines to separate us, we'll know how to flush the corrupt leaders out of the system. But in as much as we are on ethnicity, tribalism, and religious lines, there's no way we'll speak in one voice. You can imagine what Oshiomole said. He said in his days, he could still remember in his days. He even gave an example of a bold and courageous journalist who dared to question the president. Can you try that now? In his days, for those of us who know who Oshiomole is, let me give you a refresher. Oshiomole was the national chair of the Nigerian Labour Congress. Don't dare him. When Oshiomole says, let's march, there's going to be an indefinite strike, honestly, the government of the day will shake. They will quake, because Oshiomole, short as he was a mighty man. Oshiomole shook then it was Obasanjo that was ruling. If he tells you all organizations shut down, if you do not shut down, you yourself, you ask yourself, what have you done? Not now, the Labour Congress now, they're not so powerful. That's why I keep saying it. A kingmaker is a kingmaker. A king is a king. When you make a kingmaker a king, you have given him the knife, you have given him the sword, and you have also given him the power. He will kill, he will also rule. So sometimes a kingmaker should remain a kingmaker. You can imagine the difference. As soon as he left agitation of being a comrade of the people and entered politics, he now became the same person who is almost shutting down the people. He's not the same person. That same aggression he brought in Congress, in Labour Congress, he brought it into elections, where he'll tell you the best rigger rigs the day. And now he's now saying it. He now remembered his days of khaki. He now remembered the days of khaki. And I told the journalists, guys should be bold, be courageous. Like the days of the then, when I was this, when I was that. Wike reminded him. In those days, you were the Labour Congress leader, the chairman, national chair. Were they not free speech? Were journalism not allowed to report exactly how they see it without the fear of their lives? Were they not allowed to speak without them being tagged treasonable felony or cyber stalking? But right now it's different. And what was his reaction? Laughter. Ha 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 ha. Thank God for people like Wike who could look him in the face and tell him the truth. So you are talking now that they should be free. Then you were wearing khaki, now you're wearing safari, you're a big boy. You have joined the elite. So the days of your khaki, you spoke like a khaki man. Now you're wearing safari, you're a big boy, a politician. So what are we saying? That all these things we are doing to them, when they meet in their caucus, they sit back and they just laugh at our folly. They laugh at our foolishness. Look at Nigerians. They didn't want 18 million people. They don't even know how to go about their right. They laugh. Ha 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 ha. They come again. They 2023. They come again. We love you. Our mandate says this. They come with manifesto. We have come. We are going to change. In fact, dollar will become 0.50 kobo to $1. In fact, as we speak now, there will be free houses for everybody. Just enter a house and take. As we speak now, in fact, one person will have 15 jobs. Just vote me in. Mumu Nigerians, how Mumu don't do, we will still vote them. You have now seen how they just, something as strong as this, they laughed it over. It's not important. But here we are, fighting, agitating over it. They laughed it off because it wasn't anything serious to them, but it was to us.
All right, thank you very much. It's important for us to realize that journalism, especially bloggers and the rest, they are actually those who, with pen and no more pen now, so with media, they are meant to reshape the country. They are meant to be objective, not subjective. But the government of the day is trying to force the hands of the journalists to a point whereby they are very subjective in their reporting. They don't portray things the way they ought to portray it. And it's really, really affecting us. And here they are, both of them, they are clashing and they are talking. But guess what? These guys, they know themselves. They know themselves. Even some of those people who are saying, free speech has not been allowed, they talk against them or unveil any of their secrets and see how they will come after you. I could still remember, was it a state governor? The audio was viral, but he denied it, said it was alleged and all of that. There was this audio that was viral, and there was this blogger who, painted the picture of Abia, and in the light of the developmental stride, that things were not really the way it ought to be, and he was showcasing some of the faults of the government and what the people were saying. Before he knew, they gave him a phone call. Thank God he recorded it and he published it, and right now the guy is already on the run. He's no more, I believe he's no more, though I don't have anything to do with him, but I know that guy may not be hanging around Abia State. Is it Abia State?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's no more hanging around that area again. The reason is because all of these guys, they want you to talk good about them, even when they are so terrible, even when they are not doing well. And, this has really affected the government of the day. Even right now, I would say that what have even tried fixing the country a little bit and try, making them not take some drastic decisions the way they ought to take it is because of the media, because people are talking, because Nigerians are not sleeping. The internet is on fire. Issues in Nigeria is published everywhere. And guess what? It has gone a long way to cause certain people to, sit tight at their place of work, to also sit up, not really sit tight, to sit up to carry out their job functions, ranging from, the military down to a common man and all of that. So journalism is one aspect that must still be given a free hand so that it can continue in reshaping the country. That's where we're going to leave it. There was a class. They just go